Chinese Academy of Medical Science and Beijing Union Medical College. It's my pleasure to attend this conference. And when I was invited by the conference, I was asked to speak about the work I had done before, which is sulfur fumigation in Chinese herbal medicine. However, I think it's an essential history. And now what I want to talk about today is my recent work, which is new and a hot topic in China. I'd like to start by telling you the story of the giraffes lake and how and why the giraffes becomes giraffes with a so long lake. The Darwin and Lamarck said originally the giraffes has its both long lake and short lake, which means the morphological diversity. Because the move and change of the Earth's crust, the giraffe transferred to forest. Since the leaves become relatively higher, the giraffe has to adapt their behavior to this changing environment. So, the giraffe with the longer lake becomes survived, while the giraffe with short lake eventually died. As you can see this picture here, it's a classic feeding position. This giraffe tried its best to extending his neck, his head and tongue to reach the leaves. So we can summarize by end this story of evolution of the giraffe by these four expressions: variation, natural selection, survival of the fittest, and ecological suitability, or you can say ecological adaptation. Well, the second point I'd like to introduce to you is the ecotype. The item of ecotype is initially proposed by the Teresa in 1921, and after that, a number of scientists go further for this concept. And right now, the ecotype is used by some biologists and ecologists to indicate the genetic level difference during the species level. And this slide brings us the Chinese medicinal material ecotypes and the Daodi herbs. In different environments which lead to the ecological adaptation for Chinese medicinal materials and cause multiple CMM ecotype, which means ecotype 1, ecotype 2, and ecotype 3, etc. Among all these CMM ecotypes, we have the Daodi herbs, which means high quality and good application in clinic, and others becomes no Daodi herbs. As for the classification of CMM ecotypes, generally speaking, we have 5 types, which is climatic types, geo-ecotype, chemo-ecotype, geno-ecotype, and syn-ecotype. By this slide, I want to tell you, everything has its good one and bad one. In the world, the France is famous for its one and has its geographical indications, while in China, we have Daodi herbs. And some of them have already applied for geographic indications. And both Daodi herbs and the French ones are characterized by good quality, reputation, spatial processing technique, and most importantly, specific geographic region. Our Daodi herbs has a long history. In ancient China, it was the first record in Shenlong Herbal Classic in Han Dynasty, which is more than 1,000 years ago. And nowadays, we have over 200 Daodi herbs, and some of them is multiple preceding eras. Take Seva as an example. Now we have more than 6 producing areas, which is Sichuan Zhongjiang, Shanxi Shanluo, 河南方城、山东潍坊、湖北, and Anhui province. Now the questions are, how to identify the Daodi herbs? What is the characteristic for Daodi herbs? And what is the chemical and genetic characteristic for Daodi herbs? And what's the critical ecofactor for Daodi herbs? We take the Cistanche herb as an example. You know, Cistanche is the typical desert herb medicine, which is also known as desert ginseng. Here is the scientific issues. The quantity variation of this herb medicine. And we give hypothesis. It is the ecological driving which lead to the quantity variation. It has a different geographic pattern, different climatic condition, different soil environment, and different plant communities. In order to adapt this various environment, the herb medicine needs to make some change. So they cause some morphological, chemical, and genetic changes, which we call its own eco-strategy. Now we have found two ecotypes of Cistanche deserticola based on its chemical components and medical trait. As you can see here, this picture, it's Xinjiang types and Inner Mongolia types. First of all, we collect the samples, and then we determine the bioactive compounds by using UPLC-Q-TOF mass spectrometer. And at the same time, we differentiate the samples used in genetic level by using DNA barcoding. And finally, we use the biostatistic way to analyze this data. And the results show we have identified 17 compounds, among which one unique chemical compound was identified to discriminate samples from two different regions. And we also found a unique molecular marker, which is PSBA and TRNH. As you can see, this picture, in the location of 1091 loci, it's a base for samples in Mongolia. Well, it is a G basis in Xinjiang samples. The NG analysis shows a similar pattern. The samples from the two regions can be separate, obviously. Now in Chinese Pharmacopoeia in 2010 edition, the Cistanche herb contains two botanics origins, which is Cistanche deserticola and Cistanche tuberosa. However, these two species have partially a different pharmacology, action, and application in clinic. So we further to continue to distinguish these two species in the similar way. And we found that the ITS2, and the PSBA, TRNH was the optimal molecular sequences, which can discriminate these two species. And at the same time, we identified the three potential chemical compounds, which also can discriminate the two species. And our findings now has been published in PLOS ONE and Science in China this year. We get published another articles titled as the Quantity Variation and Ecotype Division of Panax quinquefolium in China. As you all know, in addition to America, Canada, China is the biggest producing countries for American ginseng. Now we have over 300 years of application and over 14 years practice for protection. And right now, we have 3 major producing areas, which is the Beijing, Shandong province, and northern east 3 province. And we collect the samples, and we determine the ginseng site, and eventually we found these 2 ecotypes, which is RB1 over RE, which is outside of the Shanghai Guan. And another one is RG2 over RD, which is inside the Shanghai Guan. The interesting things we have found is that we compared the climatic factors of these 3 countries. And we have found that the Shandong province, Beijing, classed together with the USA and Canada, while northern east 3 province classed into another one. Another case is Astragalus. There are 5 ecotypes from the appearance, as you can see here: whip poor, street poor, and biliary poor, and the chicken feet. Generally, the whip poor type is distributed in the northern Yellow River with a higher quantity, while the chicken feet type distributed in southern Yellow River with a relatively lower quantity. And we determine the bioactive compounds such as astragaloside and 6-flavonoid. And the CA analysis showed that these 4 types can be separately, distinctly. And the PCA reviews show the similar pattern. And the order of the content of the astragaloside and flavonoid is just like this. And the whip poor type shows the highest content. We also investigate the correlation between the ecofactor and the ginsenoside in Panax ginseng in China by using correlation analysis. And we have found that the temperature is a critical factor, such as active or cumulative temperature, averaging temperature, maximum temperature in July. Averaging temperature in July is the most influential factors, and which negatively correlate to ginsenoside. Another case is Notopterygii, which is the endangered Chinese herb medicine. And we have found the sunshine is a critical factor which can influence its bioactive compounds. Similarly, as for the Dendrobium, we have found the soil type is associated with the content of the salipoperides, and the Dendrobium is associated with precipitation. Okay, let's recap. We have talked about the ecotype, and then the CMM ecotype, and then the Daodi herbs. In addition, we present you the 6 cases to illustrate the mentioned questions. Technically, the Daodi herbs is the concept of quantity, and currently, we consistently face a critical situation in clinic, which is variation of quantity of CMM and different efficacy, and sometimes it even doesn't work at all. So we think the nature of this phenomena may involve the ecological variation, interspecific variation, and the diversity ecotypes. And in the next work, we can focus on the following aspect to figure out the environmental and quantity and genetic characteristic, and more importantly, to find the good germplasm. Okay, a few more words for my lab. Our research scopes is major is quantity evaluation and identification on Chinese urban medicine, correlation between quantity, gene, and environment, new drug and health food research and development. Here is the overlaps publication in last year and this year. Overlap resources advantage is that we have a sampling library. Up to now, we have more than 400 herbals, 15,000 herbal photos, and 1,500 extracts, and 10,000 molecular materials, and over 300 single compounds. And the database based on this resource reservoir are under construction. Here is the partial Daodi herbs and habitats. It's in Yunnan province. It's is the highest biodiversity. Daodi herbs in Xishuangbanna Autonomous Prefecture. It has strong ethnic characteristics. And the Daodi herbs in Hulan, which is my hometown. Another unique area, the crude drugs, and some standard extracts and chemical compounds and decoction pieces and herbs in freezer, and over teamwork and beautiful compounds. Any cooperation and consideration would be highly appreciated. Thank you for your attention.